set? Good evening, everybody. We are here this evening really we want to share with the public some of the things that are going on with a search for a missing person that the Dodge County Sheriff's Office has been conducting for most of this week. And we want to share some information with all of you today to let you know really what's going on, where we're going from there, what we're asking from the public. So, you know me, Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt. I am here today to talk to you about Crystal Rosh. Crystal Rosh is a 37-year-old young lady from the Clyman area, and we are searching for her. We are doing everything we possibly can to try and locate her and bring her back home to her family. She was last seen wearing a black Dells sweatshirt, like a Wisconsin Dells, had a big D in the front, multiple pictures on it. We don't have a picture of that shirt for you, but that is what she was last seen. But that is the young lady that we are currently looking for. What do we know? Well, we know that Crystal was last seen on or about June 11th of this year, just a couple of weeks ago. This past Sunday, June 23rd, Crystal was reported missing reported missing to the Dodge County Sheriff's Office. We started looking into that, and our detectives and our patrol staff have been doing everything they can to try and find her as quickly as possible. Following leads, we've done multiple searches at various addresses here in Dodge County, and we've done extensive searches really everywhere that we get any kind of a lead, and that continues. We will continue all of those following leads as they come in, and ask for the public's patience as we continue to do all of those things. What are we doing? Well, this is a very extensive search, and it's a difficult search. Difficult because the last known address or location of her is difficult to pinpoint. The last time she was seen was within the last couple of weeks on June 11th, as we talked about. So we're going through a lot of information, trying to figure out exactly where she's been and what she's been up to. We've used a lot of different resources to try and locate Crystal. Those resources include law enforcement agencies here in Dodge County, not just the Sheriff's Office. We've had our partnering agencies come to assist us with this. We've also called in out-of-county resources, sheriff's offices, to also come in and assist. We've been doing a lot of forensic research into the electronic devices that she has had or individuals she may have been in contact with, and those continue to take place. We're still combing through a lot of data. As you know, our electronic devices, these things that we carry around with us, contain a lot of data. We're looking through all of that in hopes of getting some positive leads, and we've had a lot of leads, and we continue to follow those. So that's really what we're doing right now. We also have worked with outside agencies, Waukesha County, for example, the Department of Criminal Investigation in Madison, trying to work through some of those devices in hopes that we can get some actionable intel to locate her quickly. Interviews have been conducted with a lot of people. That's what our detectives do. They talk to people, and they've been doing that all week. We've interviewed individuals, family, friends, other contacts, other potential places that she's been. We've been spending a lot of time trying to find out where has she been, who has she been with, those types of things. We certainly are reviewing and monitoring social media regularly. We all know social media is the way of the world, and so there's a lot of data there, again, that we need to go through to track various pieces of information, tips that we get, those types of things. We have opened up our Emergency Operations Center to coordinate resources. This process, and I want to make that very clear, is not one just we've got a couple deputies searching. This is a very exhaustive search. Our staff has been called in on overtime. Many of us have worked well into the night, overnight, and put in really long hours trying to figure out where Crystal went. We have our entire patrol division. If they're not working on a patrol and they're not at home sleeping, they're in here working to try and find Crystal as quickly as possible. So that's why we had to open up the Emergency Operations Center so that we can adequately manage all of that. What are we planning? We're going to continue searches. We put out a press release earlier today, letting individuals know, letting people in the community know, why are we out in their community? We have deputies, detectives, other law enforcement agencies searching properties, searching right-of-ways, searching various areas around the county, and we want the public to know what it is that we're doing. We will continue to do those types of things, but this is a law enforcement search. The law enforcement search is necessary for those things that I list up there. The search so that we can search based on the real-time information that's coming in. We constantly are getting new information, and we have to shift those resources quickly. It's easier to do that with law enforcement. We need to maintain the integrity of the investigation. We don't know how the investigation will come to conclusion, and as such, we need to have precautions in place to make sure we maintain chain of custody. We certainly are working very hard to bring her home, but we also recognize that the investigation could turn at any time, and we have to be prepared so that if there is a need to maintain any evidence, we can do so. And if we have volunteers or others assisting with those searches, we lose that ability to maintain that evidence for an investigation that might be needed. So very important that this investigation, these searches, be done in a coordinated manner with law enforcement. And we are bringing in law enforcement, like I said, from around the state to help us do that. So we really, I know people want to help. We'll get to that in a minute on how people can't help, but law enforcement are going to be the ones that are going to be doing this search. Talk about some of those other things up there. We'll continue to do interviews with individuals who have information related to where Crystal might be, and we certainly are looking for individuals who might have that to come forward and help us out. And we're going to continue that analysis of electronic devices. We're not done with that. There's a lot of work to be done there, and hopefully that brings us more leads that we can locate her quickly. This is what we're asking of the community. This is important. Again, these are law enforcement searches. We are not looking for volunteers to assist. We have plenty of people to do the searches in the areas we need to search. But if you have information, there's 3 options up there for you to provide information to the Sheriff's Office. We have a tip line open, 920-386-4590 is our phone line. It will come into our tip takers. If for some reason they don't answer that phone, please leave a message. It will go to our tip takers so that we can follow up on that as quickly as possible. If you want to email a tip, so.tipline@co.dodge.wi.us. And as always, excuse me, you can always submit a tip on our Dodge County Sheriff's Office app on your Google or Apple store. Again, we are not asking for volunteers at this time to assist. We have plenty of resources to search the areas we need to search. Family contact. I know in these incidents, a lot of time, people want to contact the family. This is difficult for family members, as you can all imagine. I've never been in this situation, but I can tell you that families are struggling. They are asking, please do not contact them. Please don't reach out to them and try to get the story. We are in contact with them. If there's information to be shared from the families, we will do that. They need some privacy. They're working with us, and we are trying to do this as quickly as possible, so please respect their wishes. They are very appreciative of the support that the community has already shown on social media, so we certainly want to share that with you. We are providing absolutely every resource that we can. I just spoke with a family member about an hour and a half ago, obviously really struggling with this, but I've shared the countless hours and manpower and no expenses going unspent here to bring her home as quickly as we can. The last thing I really want to share with you all is that the search continues in hope that we can find Crystal alive and return her to our family. That is how we are operating. We are operating under that assumption that there is hope that she is alive and in hopes of bringing her home. This is not a death investigation. We certainly are looking at all avenues, but our hope is to bring her home, and that's what we want to convey to the community. Certainly taking all precautions and making sure we are ready to jump into a different investigation if we need to, but at this time we are still hopeful. So with that, I'm sorry there's not a ton of information we're able to share with you at this point, but I'm happy to answer a few questions if anybody has any.
Any physical or mental health concerns for her?
Certainly,
Like medical concerns, or
there's no health concerns that we're aware of that we need to be concerned, like if she needs prescription medications or anything like that. I don't have any knowledge of any of that right now. Certainly her physical well-being is in question because we don't know where she is, and so couldn't say no. But as far as anything that the public needs to know or anything that she's missing a medication or anything like that, there's nothing there.
Are you able to reveal who reported her missing?
I can't because I don't recall how that information came in. We received information, but I don't remember if it was anonymous or if somebody gave us that.
you say like exactly where she was last seen or what she was doing when she was last seen?
I can say that she was in public when she was last seen, and I'll leave that at that. She was in a public place, and we do have positive confirmation that she was there. Any other questions?
We at least kind of said it's kind of heavy searching around the Clyman area. Is that still the case?
It is. Yeah. Right now we are searching a lot of the more public areas in the Clyman area, and we've expanded out beyond some of the properties. We want to make sure that we cover any possibility, and so we have expanded that to areas that make sense based on the information that we have. I did have a question about putting up a drone and searching an area. That's certainly something that is a capability we have, but I don't want to just search an area with a drone just for the sake of searching it, because it's a kind of a needle in a haystack. We want to have actionable intelligence of this is an area where we might want to search. And so those are the types of things we are doing. If we have good intelligence that she was there, those are the areas we're focusing on first. If we get to a point where we don't have any of that intelligence or following leads, then we might expand to some of those more needle in a haystack approaches, but I would like to go with the areas that have the most probability of yielding results that we can find her quickly. Question? Any other questions?
Is this an unusual missing persons case?
I think every missing persons case that any agency has is always going to have differences. I don't know that I really want to comment in depth on that, other than I think the most unusual part is just the amount of time since she was last seen until reported missing. It's a little lengthy, but every missing person case is different, and I don't think you can really call one more unusual than the other.
One last question from us. Is there a possibility she was with anyone when she went missing?
We are still looking into those. Not anything that I can share related to who she might have been with. All right. Thank you for coming and assisting us. And again, if anybody has any tips that they are able to present to us, again, I refer you back to the tips that we had, the tip line that we had. I'll put it up here as I leave. The tip line, the email address, and of course our Sheriff's Office app, where you can always put any kind of a tip together. All those tips are very helpful, and we appreciate the community's support as we continue to look for